congratulations on the victory. You've had a little bit of time to digest it now. How do you feel about the fight? How are you feeling?
My leg hurts, my hands hurt, but I feel great. I'm proud of myself, and Daniel Pineda is a tough guy. I knew a lot of people didn't know who he was, like casual fans, but I knew he was dangerous, and it was a dangerous fight to come back to. But overall, I'm happy.
How, if you could put it into words, how tough has this journey been?
Mentally, it was extremely tough. It's 2020, everyone's feeling it. Just from having to do rehab, 5 days a week wearing a mask. All kinds of people are complaining about having to wear them. I had to wear it. We're doing crazy cardio. It was tough. Financially, wasn't making any money. So just trying to make things stretch out. Trying to make sure all my training partners were being safe, and I wasn't going to get COVID and bring it back to my house to give it to my kids. So yeah, it was a tough journey. It was a crazy year, and pretty proud to be here.
Did you say on the broadcast in your post-fight interview that you had some crazy self-doubt hit you this week?
Yeah.
What happened there?
This journey is crazy. It's a roller coaster for all of us, and sometimes you're full of confidence, and sometimes you're not. I had that 4 or 5 losing streak really, made it difficult for me. Basically, decided to, mentally be a part-time fighter and a part-time dad. Realistically, full-time of each. But I wanted to do that at this point in my life, and I wanted to take that on. So when I had that little bit of a losing streak during that, it was like just trying to make sure I was on the right track and going, okay, are you just done? Are you just not that good anymore? Or is it really you just, got to figure it out? And I just felt deep down I needed to figure it out. And, I feel like these last 2 fights, even though they're far apart, I've really showed that I've made improvements. I'm still one of the best, and I know people still enjoy watching me fight, and I still love doing it.
Sure. When you have that moment of self-doubt this week, do you try and ignore it? Do you just put it to the back of your mind and think, well, don't think about that, I've got to fight with it? Or do you focus it, you look at it and sort of talk your way through it? How do you deal with that exact moment?
Well, I told myself, being injured was like a blessing in disguise, because I had to really think about all the things that made me great as a fighter and kind of get back to that. And I was able to rediscover some things that really helped me. And one of the things was just the mental side of it, that I needed to not, whenever you have a rush of emotion about a fight coming up and get those nerves, instead of saying, oh, I'll deal with it later, push it, stuff it down, it comes out right before you walk out for your fight. So this time I said I'm going to take it as it comes, and this week it was coming at me pretty strong. Last night I woke up this morning I woke up at about 4 a.m. And I was just in sweats, cold sweats for 2 hours. To sleep, just nervous, just like damn, you're gonna do this, come on, and I was like, okay, and I just decided to deal with it at that moment, and it was crazy because I expected it to continue all the way till right before the fight, but right before the fight is one of the calmest I've ever been, and I think because I dealt with it as it came, it became easier.
Well, congratulations on the win, and congratulations on getting back to the cage.
Thank you.
Cub in the front. How is your leg after that fight?
It hurts. He kicked me good, man. I was kind of pissed at myself, come on, you're just gonna let him kick you like that? But me and my team, we were trying to figure out, some guys are one of my coaches saying you gotta throw a punch or when he throws the kick, get in there. Another one's like, hey, get out of the way. And I think I've started to figure it out, in the second round, get out of the way. It was a little bit smarter. But yeah, my leg's hurting. I don't think I damaged it. I had it worked on by a really good surgeon, Dr. Kavitny, and it's solid. It's just it's a little skinnier than it was a year ago, so I'm still building it up, and I probably didn't need to get kicked in it, but this is my job.
So when the initial, that initial pain hits your knee, is there a thought in your head like, oh crap, like this is the leg that I just had surgery on and now it hurts in the middle of a fight?
I knew I was prepared for that.
Sure.
The hardest part was that in training I got kicked and everyone has shin pads, and you feel the blunt of it, but you don't feel like that shin bone. So getting kicked, that was one of the things I was, stressed about this morning. It was like, ooh, I hope my adrenaline's pumping when I get kicked like that. And it was. So it didn't hurt as much as I thought it would, and it hurts now. But I think it's good. I think it's fine.
At the end of the first round, you were throwing a lot of heat at him, and his hands were just down. He was kind of laughing whenever you would connect with your punches. So what's going through your mind when you're hitting Daniel Pineda as hard as you can, and his hands are just remaining down at his waist?
I wasn't even focused on him really, because both my hands were hurting so much already, and I just kept thinking, if you don't keep hitting him, your leg might give out. What are you going to let him kick you 30 times? So I just kept thinking, you got to keep hitting him. You got to be first, and it worked out.
And one last question: what did you tell your coach at the end? I saw you guys hug, and a lot of emotions were coming out there right after the fight.
I don't remember. I think they were just saying, I knew you could do it. I'm proud of you. Basic stuff. Like I said, I get super emotional around fight time, and I always appreciate the people that help me out.
Cub over here. Obviously, there's been a lot of talk about, the roster cuts, and, it isn't too long ago you were on that bad skid. So for you, can you put into words what it's like to be out here and so many fights in WEC, UFC, and you're still doing it?
Yeah, I mean, it crossed my mind that if I didn't have a great performance, I come out here, I get kicked in the leg a couple times, I fall down and can't continue, and it's another loss. It crossed my mind that maybe I'd be one of the guys. So yeah, that's always there. This is the business of the best of the best, and you got to prove that you're there. So that was on my mind. But I just, like I said, I really just wanted to focus on coming out here and putting on my best performance, and I wanted to make sure that those other things, those little distractions you call them, weren't seeping in my head.
You touched on it with the leg kicks, but I want to ask, the broadcast brought up that for a moment he did have you similar submission as the one that hurt you. I mean, can you just walk through that moment in your mind?
Yeah, I was like, are you kidding me? But yeah, I was able to get out of it. I really feel like the reason why I hurt it in the tournament was because the guy I was grappling against was a lot taller and heavier. He was like 210 and 6 foot something. So in those positions, I have pretty flexible hips, and I can just get out of them. And just because of that person being 6 foot something and so strong, I tried to slide out and I couldn't. He was so longer. He was longer than I was used to. That made it hard. But with Pineda, he's my size. He's like a normal guy I would grapple. So I didn't panic too much. But yeah, it crossed my mind.
I want to ask you, I know you had a little bit of fun with it, but obviously this year you had a guy go viral on TikTok, and a lot of people are saying he looks like Cub Swanson. I mean, do you think that's right, or do you think people are, they're a little crazy?
No, I see it. That's why I had shaved my head and everything. But I mean, I think he looks a little older than me. Looks. Come back to me in 20 years and maybe we look just like, just alike. But yeah, I just thought it was funny, and I thought it was a good opportunity to show people my funny side that a lot of people don't get to see, and try to have fun with it.
Has anyone stopped you thinking you're him?
A couple people have pointed at me and said, "Hey, dog face." I'm like, oh, all right. Thanks.
Thank you, Cub.
Yeah.
Hey, Cub, to your left. Congratulations on your win. Can you kind of talk about how your team has been able to adapt during this pandemic and come out so successful? For example, like how your teammate, your good friend Juan Archuleta, his win, and then now your big victory.
I've learned a lot from Juan. I think one of the best things I've been able to do is watch the younger up and comers and see how they do things, and just not act like I know everything, and be able to learn from people that are coming up after you. And I've been able to learn a lot from him, and then helping him prepare for his world title, and seeing him, helping him achieve his, dreams is an honor, and just awesome, and it's motivating, and it really motivated me to start getting ready. And he's somebody that helps me out so much, even give me massages and stuff like that. Whatever I need. He's just a good teammate. And I kept my camp small because obviously with COVID, we just worked out at my gym, UFC gym, Costa Mesa. No big atmosphere. We had my coaches come there, small group of guys, and made the best of it. And I feel like this is one of the best camps I've had. I spent a lot of time with my kids. I didn't try to get away from them. I trained really hard. I trained really smart, and I felt like I finally figured out the balance in my life.
Also, I know you're a great father, and I'm sure your kids are very proud of you tonight. With the holidays coming up, do you have any plans in particular?
Yeah, we're just gonna keep it small. I mean, we're still worried about, being safe. We're not gonna be around too many people. It's tough, but it's like, hey, it's just 1 year. We're gonna keep it small and make sure they're healthy. That's our biggest concern. But my kids are loved, and they got toys and they got a roof over their heads and food, and so we got a Christmas tree and all that. So I think they'll be all right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cub, after 2 wins, do you think you belong back in the top 15? If so, do you think you can still climb back to get a title shot?
I mean, it's not really a concern of mine. Like I said, if they ever want to give me a title fight, I'll take it. But I'm not gonna try to climb that ladder, and I fight whoever they tell me, whoever they think is a good matchup. That's how we've always done it. They literally used to say, "Hey, this guy's a stud. We want you to fight him. There's a lot of hype. We want to see you fight this guy." Okay, so that's how I've always done it. I think there's a lot of stress on trying to vie for the title, and I just like to go in there and put on performances for the fans, and get bonuses and do things like that.
Thank you.
Hey Cub, how you doing, mate? Congratulations on the win. When you're in the back just before the fight, does seeing a knockout like Fiziev on Moicano give you much inspiration to go out there and follow suit, or even beat it from a style perspective?
I was trying not to watch that fight, even though both of those guys are studs. I caught it out of the corner of my eye, but usually when I get that close to my fight, I don't really want to see people get knocked out, because I'm like, that can happen to me. You think about it in reverse. So just looking at the card, knowing who all was on this card, I was like, it's gonna be tough to get a bonus on this one. But when it all comes down to it, when you put me in there and the bell rings, I just do what I do.
Thank you, my friend.
Couple quick ones real quick. When you talked about the mental side of things earlier, was there ever a point, and I know you said you got over the issues, was there ever a point that if the fight didn't go your way tonight, would that going to be the last time? Are you fully back in and like still really amped up to keep fighting and keep going forward no matter what happens?
Honestly, I'm just taking it one fight at a time. I'm doing this a long time. So, like I said, I wanted to see how this fight went before, I have a plan of how many fights I want to win and what I want to accomplish. I have goals, but I'm always willing to, take a second look and see what's the best for me and my family. But yeah, that was definitely an option.
Ask about the goals. What were those? Do you mind sharing those numbers or what the sort of desired goal in your head is?
No, not going to share.
Fair enough. I don't know if you've actually said anything about it, but I know you love competing and especially out of it. But with the whole grappling thing when you were injured, is that have you decided to not really do anything like that while you're still fighting in the UFC, while you have all this to kind of take care of, especially with the young ones?
I don't think my manager or my wife would appreciate it. And I get it. It bummed me out mostly because of that, because I started as a grappling competitor. That's what got me into MMA. I used to drive to LA from Palm Springs with no coach and nobody and sign up for grappling tournaments and I would do all these grappling tournaments and win, and I got a bag full of medals somewhere. Like, I used to do it all the time, and it was crazy. It's so long ago. But so after I had the Kron fight, I worked so much grappling. I was feeling so good. I wanted to showcase it, and that came along, and I was like, the chance to represent WC. I was like, hell yeah, I want to do this. And then when I got injured, I knew that just wasn't going to be there for me anymore. And it bums me out because I like to perform in other ways, than, getting punched in the face. But, as long as I'm fighting, I don't think my manager or my wife or any of my friends or family think it's a good idea. I even had been playing soccer, this whole time, and since the knee injury, I don't think I can do that anymore either.
And lastly, you got to be happy with your striking accuracy. I thought your hands looked fantastic tonight. I don't know if that was something that you really wanted to come out and show, but it certainly paid off. But can you talk a little bit how happy you are with how your hands performed tonight?
Honestly, that was one of my biggest things. I get to go back to my hometown of Indio and work with my boxing coach, Joel Diaz, and he puts me to spar with some of the baddest boxers. And, coming back, he put me with like some amateur kids, high school kids, and I had a hard time just with the mobility of my knee. And then I was working my way up to, top prospects, and, just feeling what it was like to get back to that, landing shots and seeing punches coming was like, man, these are all these things that I used to do that I needed to get back to. And that was like my whole mindset getting into this fight was get those hands fast again, be accurate, show people why the featherweight division feared you for a long time. And I think I showed that tonight.
They looked great. Congrats on the win.
Thank you.